questions from Chris on tap tonight as well. Okay, we got to lay some things out here. Let's lay some things out. Just kind of see where you're at, and let's not lose our minds. Let's try and see what the real deal is. Let's start in the FCS playoffs. Start with the FCS games. Jackrabbits go down to North Dakota State. Great game, really close. That was a battle. I mean, there's nothing else you can say. That was a battle. North Dakota State won it. South Dakota State was there. It was winnable. They couldn't get it done. So the Jacks with a back-to-back title run, the three-peat falls short. That's the last time you're going to see some great players like Mark Gronowski. And I tweeted this. I said, I think Mark Gronowski, he has to go down as one of the best all-time FCS players. There's been some great ones. I mean, some really, really good ones. Randy Moss comes to mind at Marshall. Yeah, he was FCS. You may not know that, but back in the day when Marshall was FCS. So there's been some great FCS players. I get it. I'm not telling you Gronowski's the best. I'm just telling you we got to appreciate the run he made. We're talking about he made the championship every year he was playing. I mean, it's unbelievable. And he brings home a couple of them. The only one that fell short was when he broke his leg, okay, in that spring one with Sam Houston State. So you talk about South Dakota State and Mark Gronowski as an ultimate leader and competitor. I mean, that guy, what a season, what a career. I don't know where this is going to go for Mark, but he's a big guy, a physical guy. Let's keep an eye on him. He's going to go to the East-West Shrine Bowl. He's going to try and get some NFL looks here. Wish him the best. He was a quality guy. We had him on this show every week, and it was a pleasure getting to know him, reading his final year, and disappointed for him it falls a little bit short. But North Dakota State won it. That's all there is to it, okay? And congrats to the Jacks on a really, really good run. And I don't think it's done yet. They just have so many good players, and the roster's so deep, and Chase Mason stepping into quarterback, a really, really good athlete right here out of South Dakota. So the Jacks are in good shape. North Dakota State wins one side of it. And I'm going to get to the fallout here after the game. That's what I want to get to. On the other side, USD goes to Montana State. I watched that game. And I thought early on, I'm sitting here going, well, Montana State just bullies everybody. They run for over 300 yards a game. The Bobcats just bully everybody, the number one seed. And USD physically was matching up. They physically were matching up. They were also running the ball and tore off some big chunk plays. We're tied early on 14-14, and I'm thinking the Yotes are in pretty good shape. They just couldn't quite keep the defensive. You just get worn down. And I do have to say, I undervalued Tommy Mellott, the Montana State quarterback. If you watch that game on ABC, he is a unbelievable player from a running standpoint. His quickness, elusiveness, it's at another level. This isn't good athlete Cam Miller, great athlete Mark Gronowski, like big, fast. This is like really fast. The RPO stuff, the run pass option, I mean, it was off the charts. So I was wondering if you could slow him down, and USD just couldn't hang in. They just couldn't hang in long enough. Montana State's defense got them figured out a little bit. The chunk plays went away. Montana State was the better team, but I will tell you this, USD showed up, did not get embarrassed, did not get pushed around like every other team the Bobcats played. So the Yotes, a really good season, first time they make it that far, and they made Montana State play their game. Meaning Montana State just couldn't mail it in. They could mail it in the whole year, basically, and they just ran over everybody. USD was their toughest opponent when it comes to FCS. I really believe that. So there was no mistake that USD made that run. They made Montana State play well. They had to play well to win it, and the Bobcats were just better. So unfortunately, we don't have a Jacks-Yotes title game. North Dakota State was better again, and they proved it. They beat the Jacks twice. They're in the Fargo Dome, both really close. Those teams are really close, and Montana State's the number one seed. And I think that with Tommy Mellott at quarterback and everything that he's doing passing as well. He used to just be a runner. Now he's a passer too. I undervalued him. He is a player. I mean, he is an absolute player. So great seasons for the Jacks and the Yotes. We'll put a wrap on that. My question is, here on the Nate Brown Show tonight, what'd you think of Cam Miller, the North Dakota State quarterback? He's saying after the game they beat the Jacks in the rivalry, he says live on ABC, well, now I can say it, I hate them. I hate the Jackrabbits. And people grabbed that. I grabbed that. I thought, whoa. I was like, that's a little edgy. You don't see that on the national TV side very much. We're used to, well, that's the type of stuff you hear on a podcast. You know, where everyone's like, yeah, they didn't, you're not really listening. Whoa, what did he say? He said that up front, and he was emotional, got the big win over the Jacks. He says, I hate them. I hate the Jackrabbits. And some Jackrabbit fans have interacted with me on social media saying, well, that's just a low blow. That's a low blow. So let me ask you that question of the day today on the Nate Brown Show as we start up this Monday. What do you make of that comment? Is that out of bounds? Is that out of bounds? National TV, you just beat the Jacks. You're the quarterback, senior leader for the Bison. Now I can say it. I hate them. I hate the Jackrabbits. So much hate during the Christmas season. So much hate. Is it out of bounds or is it just part of the rivalry? It's the Dakota marker battle. The Bison and Jacks, they don't like each other, I can tell. There's some familiarity there. Is it just part of the rivalry or is that out of bounds? That's what I'd like to know today. Okay? Let me tell you what my thoughts were. I kind of just expanded on that. That's, I think, I'm not surprised he was like saying that. I think I was a little surprised. I maybe wouldn't have said it on right after the game, national TV post-game interview. But that's just me. You know, so you're talking to somebody, that's the type of stuff you say to the North Dakota State media, to the North Dakota State hosts of radio shows, stuff like that. And maybe it does go viral. You usually don't see it national TV post-game interview. and the reporter was like, she didn't know what to say. So was it like the worst thing ever, the Michigan planting of the flag in a post-game brawl? No, so let's keep it in perspective. I'm just being honest when I said, probably not going to say that on the national TV. I'm the face of the university, the program. We just had a great win. I'm usually going to go the high road. Hey, tough opponent, great game, really happy for my guys, and just go there. That's usually, and say, well, that's just player, that's just coach speak. I like hearing the real story. Well, usually on the national TV side in the post-game interviews, as the face of the team, you probably just go down the professional route. You probably do that. Am I just absolutely devastated over it? No, I'm not. I'm just not devastated. The Jacks lost. The Bison won. I wouldn't have gone there, but I don't think it's like way out of bounds. I don't think, as I said, I'm not comparing it to the Michigan planting of the flag, the brawl, the whole thing. It was emotional. College kids battled these guys, had some frustrations of his own against the Jacks. He got them. He says, that's it. End of story. Was it out of bounds is the question of the day. Hit me on the text line. We got 175 votes coming in right now. 175 votes was North Dakota State Cam Miller's postgame comment right away. I hate the Jackrabbits, out of bounds. I mean, it was passionate. It wasn't like joking. It was, I hate them. I hate the Jackrabbits. I probably don't go there. And I probably don't want my player to go there if I'm the coach. But I don't think it's maybe as egregious as maybe some Jacks fans reacted emotionally there as well. I think the Jacks, I mean, you lose, you're ticked off, the whole thing. I don't think you'd hear that stuff very often, but some people would say, well, the Jacks do the horns down all the time. So what about the Jacks? They do the horns down. And that's why it's like for one or the other. I mean, somebody does one thing, another person does another thing. That's why I'm not going to think Cam Miller's the worst guy of all time. I'm just not. Over those comments. That's my read on it. I don't do it. I'm a coach. I don't want him to do it. Take the high road. It's always better. High road's always better. But I don't think it's crazy. What do you say, though? Is it just part of the rivalry, or he didn't need to say it? 605-720-1067. Here's the poll results online. We got a lot of texts coming in. I'll get to those. Poll results online, 175 votes. 77% of the Nate Brown Show audience tonight says it was fair game. It's a rivalry. It's fair game. It's a rivalry. Basically saying, don't be so soft. And I get that. I really do. I mean, we can't be too soft. I like being professional after wins, but I don't want to be on the losing side being too soft. 77% say it's a rivalry. It's fine. 23% of you say it was out of bounds. He didn't need to say it. It was out of bounds. Listener text on the text line now. Get in there if you want. 605-720-1067. Your read. Listener text. It was fine. He was just looking for a championship NIL sponsor with the line. That's not a bad idea. Make a T-shirt on that, I suppose. Hang on. You're stealing business ideas now. Listener text. Who's Cam Miller? Go Montana State. Oh, there's a shot. A shot. Well, Cam Miller's the guy who played a pretty good game. I mean, I got to say, North Dakota State was good. They were good. Listener text, Cam Miller's the only quarterback in North Dakota State history with a losing record to the Jacks. Okay, mark one up for the Jacks. I'll take it. Listener text, Cam Miller's comment is juvenile. It's juvenile. Yeah, I mean, again, I go the professional route. I want my QB to say the right things, not stir up anything, just not go there. People were trying to make excuses. Oh, he didn't like getting hit, and they twisted his leg and stuff. I don't know. You can read into this, read into that. I don't know. I still want you to be measured, your response to be professional, your response to be respectful. I think I still want that. Well, the Jacks weren't respectful the way they played again. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Listener text coming in. It was directed at his high school teammate who took a cheap shot, should have been ejected for targeting. That's coming from up north, I think. That listener text. Well, I appreciate that. It was, yeah, I mean, he's saying it was directed at Bach, Adam Bach. They played in high school together. I don't know if Bach's trying to hurt Cam. I mean, that's the type of stuff I'm not going to judge intent there. I don't know what they're going 100 miles an hour. I don't know intent. I don't know the speed of the play, the take there. I don't think Adam Bach's a dirty player. I've seen a lot of Jacks games. I don't think he is. Listener text, one more. It was out of bounds. Like what my 68-year-old mother said, I would like to punch him in the face. Whoa, look out. Now that is out of bounds. That is out of bounds. Boy, what a joyous Christmas week we're starting here today. Jacks lose to the Bison. Cam Miller with a little insult to injury. Didn't like it. Not over the top, out of control. Didn't like it, but not something that makes me like, oh, that was the worst thing I've ever heard somebody say. No, it's not. He probably says that on a podcast and you don't even know about it. Just not the right thing to say after a game against the Jacks, national TV, that thing. That was his miss. Coming right back, let's go to John Bryce, college football national writer for footballscoop.com. A lot to cover tonight. We'll get back into the FCS with Joe DeLeon tonight, FCS college football analyst coming up. But first, John Bryce on the 12-team playoff. I've got a solution for these games that just happened this weekend. I was looking forward to it. I'm a huge college football fan. I watched Ohio State for a half, and I was waiting for all these games. I was waiting for these. It was bad. It wasn't good. We gotta do a little better than this. Let's get to John Bryce next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Shop the best deals of the season at Splash City and create the ultimate game night all year round. Challenge family and friends with the smooth glide of a shuffleboard puck gliding across the table, or reign champion with a Brunswick pool table. With free local delivery and setup and either 0% financing or a free gift, you only have until Christmas Eve to stop into your local Splash City to learn more about these amazing deals.
Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City. It's time to make a splash. You've earned it.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Cruise into the action with the Cadillac Jax Can-Am ATV giveaway with over $90,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, including 2 Can-Am ATVs. Play now to qualify and be part of our prize package drawings every 30 minutes on Friday and Saturday nights. Plus, mark your calendar for our grand prize drawings on November 30th and December 28th, where 2 lucky winners will drive away on a brand new Can-Am ATV from Rice's Motorsport. The $90K Can-Am ATV giveaway, only at Cadillac Jax in Deadwood. Are you ready to ride?
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows of low around 31. Tonight, under overcast skies, west winds around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 54. Tomorrow, bright sunshine expected. Cloudy skies expected. Tomorrow night, lows around 35. Temps well above average Wednesday and Thursday, with highs from the upper 40s to the low 50s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 45.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. Merry Christmas, everybody. One show this week. That's it. Let's make it happen tonight, huh? Great guests across the board. The Nate Brown Show is on, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Appreciate all of our guests giving us some time tonight. Everybody's busy, so thanks to everybody for hopping on Fox Sports Radio here on the Nate Brown Show, including John Bryce. Kicking off the show with John Bryce after the college football playoff debut. Footballscoop.com for his work. Footballscoop.com. John, welcome back in. How are you?
I am great, Nate. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you, and hope that you and all your listeners and everyone else have a very Merry Christmas.
Same to you, man. I appreciate you hopping in. So let me get this 12-team playoff scenario. The big discussion point is, John, everybody in the national media is saying these first-round games were bad. They were bad, so the committee picked the wrong teams. Is that legit?
No, I don't think so at all, to be honest with you. The games were not overly compelling. I still think it was great for the sport. I'll be curious to dive into all the viewership numbers. I haven't looked at them yet. And I would say what got wrong was not necessarily the committee. In this instance, it was that teams were guaranteed buys that probably should have been opening round teams. And I'm looking at you, Arizona State and Boise State specifically. Now, I'm not blaming those teams. They did what they needed to do to earn buys in the present system. I would bet that gets changed next year and that we seed teams, and that if you win one of those conference championships or you're the best G5 team, you still get into the field, but you don't get into the field with a guaranteed bye.
Okay, was the most surprising result the Saturday night game with Ohio State blasting Tennessee, or what was your read on the games?
No, that was to me that was not the most surprising result. Even though I'm a UT grad and took a lot of heat from some of my Vols fans friends in recent weeks. I had done a guest piece for 247 Sports 2 or 3 weeks ago, and in it we were asked to predict who would have the worst playoff showing, and I picked Tennessee. And I really believe that Tennessee was in trouble, and we had some company from Tennessee that came in for the Notre Dame game and then rushed out of town Saturday morning to get back to Tennessee to watch the Vols game, and they did not like me telling them that they were rushing home to see a loss. But I just felt, look, I still feel first and foremost that Ohio State is the single most talented team of the 8 left standing. I think that Ohio State is the best talented team, not the best team right now. We'll see. Saturday night, they looked like the best team. That was not surprising to me. I thought that SMU, I have to say that Kevin Jennings just being an abject disaster was probably most surprising. To be clear, I picked all 4 home teams, and I picked all 4 home teams to cover the spread. So in that regard, I went 8-0. But I did think that SMU would make it a game into the second half. And you consider they were never in the game, Nate, and Drew Aller didn't even have a touchdown pass. Drew Aller threw for like $125 as the Penn State quarterback, didn't have a touchdown pass, and that game was arguably the biggest blowout of the weekend. So I liked it. I liked the opening weekend. We know we're going to go to 14, if not 16 teams, fix the seeding, and go from there.
John Bryce is in tonight, national college football writer, footballscoop.com. You wrote a piece on this. Josh Heupel, head coach at Tennessee. He's a South Dakota guy, by the way, born here in South Dakota. That you wrote a piece on this. He's got the Vols program going, but he's lost some big margin games. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, and even more interesting is that today one of the Ohio State starting defensive backs went on an Ohio State Columbus area radio show with former OSU linebacker Bobby Carpenter and said, hey, you know, it was so rewarding because we prepared so hard and they didn't change any of their looks. So we knew all night what Tennessee was doing. And he specifically referenced the play, and you can see him make a TFL because he crashes up from the safety position and knows exactly what's coming. And so I think the knock on Heupel when he was at UCF, his best year ever at UCF was his first year after replacing Scott Frost. And then he staggered in the wrong direction, but still a very good program, a very good coach. And I think that the SEC is continuing to figure them out more. I think when it's on the road, they continue to really struggle and figure them out even more. And, yeah, they don't lose a ton under Heupel, but now with that loss, that's 11 losses by double digits in their last 49 games. So it's roughly 23% of the time Tennessee is losing games by double digits under Josh Heupel. And when you extrapolate that over the course of a season, you might be 9-3, but the stats say that you're going to be 9-3 with 3 bad losses, and I consider most double-digit losses to be bad. A couple of those are not bad losses. This was a bad loss. This was a game, and I've said this about the Notre Dame game. Notre Dame beat Indiana far closer to 27-3 than it did 27-17.
Yeah.
and Ohio State beat Tennessee far closer to like 42-3 than it did 42-17. Now, I say that because Ohio State was up 21-3, marching for another touchdown. Controversial interception for Tennessee that stood under review, but it was not confirmed under review. So that means if it had been called incomplete on the field, it would have still been an incomplete pass. Ohio State was about to score and go up 28-3, and I think that game gets even more out of hand. So he's got to figure it out. I think he needs to rework some of his assistant coaches. I tweeted this. I believe this. Jim Knowles at defensive coordinator and Chip Kelly at offensive coordinator are about as good as it gets. I mean, you've got a guy, Chip Kelly, that won a natty or played for a natty at Oregon and then coached in the NFL and made the playoffs and took UCLA back to respectability before leaving that voluntarily to come be Ohio State's offensive coordinator. And then at Tennessee, you've got the head coach and offensive coordinator Joey Halsey, who had never called plays before, co-opting the offensive sets against Tim Banks, who never called the defense when he was at Penn State, even though I think he was co-defensive coordinator. And I just thought, I call it headset wins, and Ohio State beat Tennessee Saturday night from the headset to the cleats.
Let me ask you about these games this next week. I think these are going to be pretty solid across the board. I think maybe a couple of clunkers. We'll see. But Notre Dame, you cover them. Notre Dame, Georgia, you think that's a really good one?
I think it can be. With the news today, Nate, that Riley Mills' Notre Dame career is over after his right knee injury. I mean, that guy's an NFL draft pick coming up in the spring. He's a player who has appeared in 62, 63 career games for Notre Dame. He leads the team in tackles for loss. He leads the team in sacks. He has 25 and a half TFLs for his career. He's a team captain. And of their starters, he's by far the most SEC-like player on Notre Dame's defensive line. So I know that the Bulldogs are going to be playing without Carson Beck. I've had multiple college coaches reach out to me somewhat voluntarily, unsolicited, just talking about a variety of things. Then I'll say, or they'll ask me what I think about the CFP, or I'll ask them. And they think Georgia may well be better without Carson Beck. Certainly Gunnar Stockton is a better runner, and Georgia hasn't had the greatest run game, but now its offensive line is pretty healthy. Its offensive line way outweighs the Notre Dame defensive line. So long-winded way of saying it can be a good game, but with the loss of Riley Mills, I really worry about this matchup for the Notre Dame defense.
John Bryce in tonight, footballscoop.com. Hit it. I do it every day. Last one, you said Ohio State may be the most talented team, you think. So do they have the edge against Oregon?
I picked them to beat Oregon already in my bracket that I filled out. I picked them to beat Oregon. I think that they will win that game. I said it going into this game this past Saturday night, and it's another reason I also think Georgia holds an edge going into the game against Notre Dame. Much of Ryan Day's job had been done for him the last 3 weeks, Nate. And what I mean by that is all those Ohio State players had heard how terrible they were, how much they sucked for losing to Michigan. And that took a lot of the motivation out of the hands of Ryan Day and put it in the environment that those players live and exist in every single day. And so Tennessee ran into not only what I very firmly believe, and I think the NFL draft will show is the most talented team, but also the most ticked off team.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways that Notre Dame will run into a Georgia team that is going to be similar. Remember, 2 years ago, Georgia steamrolled to the national title, but Kirby Smart convinced his players that they were picked to finish with 5 losses, that they were picked to finish as a runner-up in the SEC East, let alone in the SEC. And Kirby Smart is really, really good at that. I discussed it on a podcast today. He will have Georgia, with all this time off to prepare, believing that it's an underdog next week against Notre Dame, and I don't think that favors Notre Dame. Okay. And, yes, I do think that Ohio State wins, and Ohio State is the most talented team. I'm not ready to sit here and predict them as my national champion today, but I do think that they will beat Oregon.
John Bryce, getting set. We're another week away here. I'm looking forward to second round. College football writer, footballscoop.com. John, Merry Christmas again, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Merry Christmas, Nate. You've got a lovely family in your Twitter profile photo. Make sure that Santa is extra good to them on Christmas.
I believe that. I've already taken care of that, fortunately. John Bryce in tonight, national college football writer, footballscoop.com. National writer, covered the Notre Dame-Indiana game, and does great work as a national writer. He's taking Ohio State over Oregon. He thinks Georgia's going to get by Notre Dame. Those are two games to watch. I have a feeling Arizona State's going to be competitive with Texas, and I might be out to lunch. But Arizona State's just been pushed away. They got a running back, man. That guy's the real deal. Like, speaking of, they remind me of a team everyone says stinks, and then they're going to show up. And Texas probably just better across the board. But I think Arizona State shows up. That's my early gut. Arizona State shows up. That's a tight one, I think. Oregon, Ohio State's a great one. I think Notre Dame, Georgia's a great one. Let's see. Penn State and Boise State. Producer Matt Kearney's wearing his Boise State hooded sweatshirt here. That's going to be a tough one for the Broncos. Going to be a tough one for the Broncos of Boise. Speaking of the Broncos, let's go to the NFL. Everybody was crowning my Denver Broncos. They're 9-5. They're going to make the playoffs. They just have to win. They're going to make the playoffs. Let's hang on a second. Frank Schwab, Yahoo Sports NFL writer, next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Want to improve your putting? Master your chip shots? Golf Greens by Foreverlawn is the ultimate synthetic turf to improve your short game. For the committed golfer to the recreational player, we create custom golf greens to make your home or business the premier practice and entertainment destination. Call 605-831-9026 or Google Foreverlawn in South Dakota. With dealerships on both sides of the state, we're ready to help you shave strokes off your golf game. Foreverlawn in South Dakota.
Save big money on everything you need at Menards. Bring charm and warmth to your home with a Hensley electric fireplace from Pleasant Hearth. Easily adjust the flame's brightness and temperature with the included remote control. It features a classic white finish with farmhouse-style details, plus storage for your home entertainment. Hurry in now to Menards and view all our great deals on Menards.com right now.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
The last 5 days are the best 5 days of the year to buy a new Honda from Denny Menlo Rushmore Honda. Choose from 24 new 2025 all-wheel drive Honda CR-Vs with 2.9% APR financing. Or buy a new 2025 Honda HR-V all-wheel drive, 18 available, and get 3.9% APR financing. Choose from over 125 new Hondas here and arriving in soon. It's Happy Honda Days at Denny Menlo Rushmore Honda or at RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited with qualified credit. Offer ends 1/2/25.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The holidays are fast approaching, and we're celebrating every weekend in December with Santa's Stash. Every Friday and Saturday, we'll draw 5 winners who pick a gift from underneath the tree. You could win cash and prizes valued at up to $5,000. Earn 1 free entry every day you play with your Clubhouse card and get an additional entry for every 100 points you earn. Be here at 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays for your chance to win some of Santa's Stash. Only at Tin Lizzie Gaming Resort on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. One show this week. That's it. Christmas landing right in the middle of the week, so we're going to knock it down on this Monday. Appreciate you being here. Fox Sports Radio. Frank Schwab's on tonight. Appreciate him hopping in a busy week. He's got all of his shopping done. That's, he's all done. Frank's, he's got it all handled. YahooSports.com, national NFL writer on the Nate Brown Show. Frank, welcome back. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Is that true? Shopping's done. You're that guy. You're all good, right?
I hope so. I mean, hope for no last-minute surprises that I got to go take care of. But yes. I think we're all set.
Okay, we're good. We should be good. Let's get into this thing, Week 16. Here's one thing I want to ask. I'm going to ask you about the Broncos right away. So I thought everybody rushed quickly. I'm a Broncos fan. I mean, people know this. I thought everybody rushed quickly when they went 9-5. Well, they're in the playoffs. That's it. It's over. We're good to go. Just win a game. I mean, they got Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. Oh, yeah, we're good. Somebody else is going to lose. We're fine. I don't think they're totally fine, but how do you feel?
I think they're in good shape, but, yeah, they're not clinched. I mean, look, you go play a dangerous Bengals team. Look, the Bengals have lost a lot of games for a reason, too. I mean, this is a flawed team. The defense isn't very good, and there's a reason they're not exactly right in the thick of the wild card race, but they're trying to get in it. So, they could beat them, but if they don't, you got to hope the Chiefs kind of beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're a Broncos fan, you are rooting for the Chiefs on Christmas Day, because if the Chiefs win, they don't have anything to play for Week 18. Now, Andy Reid has shown in the past he will play starters if they have a bye. I don't know that he would just sit everybody, but it's a lot easier to beat a Chiefs team when they have no motivation to win in Week 18. But without that, let's say that the Broncos lose to the Bengals this weekend, the Steelers beat the Chiefs, so the Chiefs got to win to secure the number 1 seed. All of a sudden, the door's wide open for somebody to walk in. It would be, for somebody here based in Colorado, who knows a lot of Broncos fans, obviously, I can't even describe, and you know this personally, just how crushing it would be to the Broncos to miss the playoffs this year. I mean, it has been so long, and for 3 months, all Broncos fans have been, pretty much anticipating this playoff berth happening. And for it to be stolen away and then them not to make the playoffs again, I don't care if you have a bright future of Bo Nix and they had a good year and it was all, to lose a playoff berth like that, losing 3 straight games at the end of the season, which would have to happen for them to miss this playoff berth, it would just be crushing. It would absolutely just be crushing to the fan base, the franchise, everything.
See, and that's what I'm telling you. I feel like it's really in play still. Who do you give the edge Saturday? Bengals, Broncos. Who do you really give the edge?
You know what? A slight edge to the Bengals, but again, the Bengals are a very flawed team. Like, yes, they have a great quarterback who's playing as good as he's ever played, and that's saying something for a guy who almost won a Super Bowl. Jamar Chase might be the best receiver in the game right now, and all this kind of stuff, but there's a reason they've lost all these games. I mean, if you're in a must-win game, it's because you haven't won enough games, and so I give a slight edge to the Bengals, but not a big one. The Broncos could go in there and win. That defense is really, really good, and a few days of extra rest, and now they have some urgency to try to win and clinch a spot right away. So a slight edge to the Bengals, but not really much. I view this almost as a toss-up.
Okay, Frank Schwab on tonight, NFL writer at YahooSports.com. Started with Broncos. Let's go to Vikings. Vikings could jump all the way to the number 1 seed. They could, but they got Packers, they got Lions. I don't know if that's likely, but nobody thought this Vikings team could be a number 1 seed. How impressed were you yesterday, the comeback drive, Sam Darnold over the Seahawks?
Yeah, I was, because we're late in the season, but really, if you think back on the Vikings season, they haven't had many moments where their backs were really against the wall, and they came back, and Sam Darnold just marched them down for a win. I mean, this was really, of their 13 wins, this was only the second one when they've trailed in the last 5 minutes, and the other one was Arizona at home a couple weeks ago. And Seattle scores. It looks like they're going to win the game. They're at home. That's a really tough environment. It's raining. Seattle's no pushover. And for Darnold to just take him right down the field, hit Justin Jefferson for the touchdown pass, I think that was really important for their development as a team to be a contender, because you're going to face games and adversity like that in the playoffs. And now they can look back and say, hey, remember Seattle? Remember, we were down and out, and Sam just marches right downfield. I think that gives them a lot of confidence. I think it was an important, kind of character-building type of thing for the Vikings. They're 13-2. It's unbelievable. It is really unbelievable to think that there's a very, very realistic and probable scenario, I'd even say, that Week 18, the Sunday night game, is going to be 2 14-2 teams playing against each other. The winner gets the number 1 seed, and the loser is going to be 14-3 playing on the road in Week 1 of the NFL playoffs.
Right.
That's unbelievable. We've never seen a Sunday night game at the finale like that. So I hope it happens. I really think it would be great theater. It'd be basically the first playoff game rather than the last regular season game almost. So, yeah, Vikings are just having a tremendous season, and we might look up in, whatever it is, 14 days and say, wow, the Vikings should be the favorite to win this whole thing. If they get the number 1 seed, why not? I don't think that anybody, Philly could, Detroit could. I don't think I'd pick anybody to go into Minnesota and win. Not the way the Vikings are playing. This is a really, really good football team.
It sounds like you may not pick the Packers this next week. Packers still got to play tonight, and then they're on a short week. You think the Vikings win in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think the Vikings will beat the Packers next week. I just think they're a better team right now. And we've already seen it. Vikings have already beat them, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
This is, I just don't have any reason to pick against the Vikings right now. Do I think they're going to beat the Lions in the finale? I don't know. I think that's going to be a great game. But yes, I would assume that they're going to beat Green Bay. Why would at this point it's kind of foolish to pick against them. They're a really, really good football team.
Frank Schwab on tonight, Vikings 13-2, YahooSports.com, national NFL writer. I want to know which side you're landing here with Sam Darnold, because he's not just playing okay, he's playing really good. He's got over 30 touchdowns. Really cuts down his interceptions. Justin Jefferson, 144 yards yesterday, 2 scores. Which side are you landing on with Sam Darnold in the future? What do the Vikings franchise tag him? That's what Vikings fans, I think, maybe want, but that's a lot of money, and then you kind of mess things up. What do you do?
Yeah, he's a guy who's going to finish, 5th, 6th in the MVP voting. Really, if the season ends up the way it's going, why wouldn't he? And I think the whole goal of this thing is to find a quarterback, right? And they found one. It was unconventional. The 10th pick of the draft gets hurt, and this guy steps in, and he becomes, a top 10 MVP candidate. And I just think you do franchise him and just figure it out later. I don't think you let him walk. Again, the whole goal of this thing is to find a quarterback, and they found him. Why would you turn back on that? I get it would be weird to have the 10th pick kind of waste away for another year, but I think if I'm the Vikings, I feel like, I'm on a pace for a 14-15 win season. Why would I mess with that? Why would I change things? Just you're praying that J.J. McCarthy is as good as Sam Darnold's been this year. Why would you take that gamble? And I get it. You have a lot of edges when it comes to the salary cap with a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on his rookie deal, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, am I just turning back from if they go 15-2 this season? Am I just changing quarterbacks to a guy who's never played a regular season game? I don't know that I can. I franchise him. Maybe you trade him. Maybe you sign him a long-term deal. Maybe you just play it out another year on a franchise tag. But I think they have to. I don't think they can let him just walk out the door after this.
Okay, let me ask you on this one. Raiders win yesterday. Nobody cares except for Raider fans who say, We could have the number one pick. Hey, why are we winning? Yet the organization and players are saying, we tried to win. What's your reaction to the fans that think if you lose, you get the number one and think the team should mail it in?
I mean, I get why fans are kind of secretly rooting for, not even secretly, they're rooting for losses. I get it because, you know, when you need a quarterback, you're talking yourself into Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, whoever it's going to be. Now, I do think that there's something to be said about, like, this draft class isn't the one where you necessarily just fall in love with the number one pick being a quarterback. Like, I don't think either of those guys are great. Maybe they will be great, but I think there's a lot of questions about them coming out. Let's say that. So I understand from the fans, though. They want, but that doesn't happen in the NFL. I hear all the time this time of year, oh, this team is tanking. The Giants are tanking. You know what? The Giants ain't tanking. They just stink. They're just bad at football. They don't need to try to lose football games. They're losing football games because they're a bad football team. Like, they're not tanking. Like, NFL players and coaches do not tank. It just doesn't happen, especially the players, because the players aren't putting anything bad on film. They don't care about that draft pick. You think Aiden O'Connell wants to lose? Why? Right. So Cam Ward can come in and take his job? Like, it's nonsensical when you think about it, but you hear it all the time. Oh, this NFL team's tanking. This NFL team's tanking. Nobody tanks. Like, the one time I remember it happening, and you can go back and check it out, last game before Jameis Winston came out, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pulled all their starters in the second half, and they went from being up 20-3 to losing that game against the Saints. Like, it's all out there. It happened. They tanked that game. That's the only time I can remember my 20 years covering the NFL where a team obviously wanted to lose, and it was clear as day, and the NFL didn't do anything about it. But otherwise, like Antonio Pierce, what is Antonio Pierce? He probably isn't going to be around next year. You just want to win. Life in the NFL is better when you win. The locker room's happier. The flight home is happier if you're on the road. Everything is better when you win in the NFL, and these players and coaches do not care about draft position. They really don't. Maybe the front office does, but the fans can. That's fine, but the players are never going to be tanking. And if you were ever asked to tank, I can tell you how quickly that would be leaked to the media. That's why it's never. Right. If Antonio Pierce was like, "Hey guys, we're going to try to lose this week so we can get Shedeur Sanders," before that team meeting was done, Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or somebody would have the tweets out that, "Hey, the Raiders are asking players to tank." It just would not happen.
Frank Schwab in tonight on a Monday before Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Frank. Thanks for hopping in, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it too.
Thanks a lot. YahooSports.com national NFL writer Frank Schwab on tonight. Appreciate his time. Yahoo Schwab on Twitter. Follow him there, and you've got him. Frank Schwab in on a Monday. Quick time out on the Nate Brown Show. Let's jump back into the college football playoff. John Bryce, college football writer, earlier this hour said they're going to expand to 14 and then maybe 16. Oh, boy. My thought next on what should really happen with the college football playoff.
This is the Nate Brown.
This New Year's Eve, get ready to rock the box, featuring flannel and pop rocks live at the Box Event Center. Enter the costume contest for your chance to win the $1,000 grand prize. General admission tickets start at just $35. How about an all-you-can-eat nacho bar? VIP packages, including a room stay and breakfast, start at $149 at rockthebox.live. Rock the box with us and ring in the new year with a bash. Tickets available now. Visit rockthebox.live.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
Test for your chance to win the $1,000 grand prize. General admission tickets start at just $35. How about an all-you-can-eat nacho bar? VIP packages, including a room stay and breakfast, start at $149 at rockthebox.live. Rock the box with us and ring in the new year with a bash. Tickets available now. Visit rockthebox.live.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection, and brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows of off around 31 tonight under overcast skies. West winds around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 54 tomorrow. Bright sunshine expected. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow night. Lows around 35. Temps well above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs from the upper 40s to the low 50s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 45.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. Your sports, your show. The Nate Brown Show is on. Monday edition. One show for the week. Let's do it up here for you. From college to the pros, we got you covered. We'll talk FCS playoffs and the reaction to the semis with Joe DeLeon, FCS college football analyst, straight ahead. Matthew Coller's in tonight. He's back from Seattle. Vikings beat writer, Purple Insider, now in the Twin Cities. Matthew's back. We'll get him on the show tonight. Reaction for the Vikings at 13-2. And some best bets for the week. Christmas Day games on Netflix. Isaiah Cliff, BetMGM Sportsbook, with some of the best bets for the week. That's coming up second hour straight ahead. Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. It's time to see how popular this take is. It's time to see how popular this is my real feeling after watching what I was anticipating this weekend, the college football playoff. I have to be honest with you. How'd my weekend go? Here's my weekend. I was ready to rock and roll with the FCS playoffs. So I watched those. South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and then USD Montana State. And so I'm flipping around, not much, because I'm dialing on the Jacks Bison. That was the best game at that window by far, because Penn State was blasting SMU, which I expected. SMU, that was bogus. I mean, they shouldn't, I said that 2 weeks ago, December 9th to be precise. SMU, that they're out to lunch, putting them in there. So I'm looking at it saying, well, there's going to be some good games. Maybe. Friday night, I went to a Christmas party, got back, watching the second half. Notre Dame's already got it handled easily. Easily. Saturday, Penn State handles it easily. Texas over Clemson, easily. I mean, these games on Friday, Saturday, were double-digit blowouts. They weren't even competitive. This is the college football playoff. And so the discussion now is they actually want to go to 14 teams. Not just 12, but 14, and then 16 potentially. And so I'm asking you guys, do you want to go more teams or less teams? I don't want to go back to 4, but I've always said as they were discussing this over the past couple of years, why couldn't we go to 8? 8 is like the magic number, because I think you're going to see some pretty good games this next week. Now we're down to that number, and I think you're going to see some pretty good games. I knew Indiana wasn't going to. I mean, I won money at BetMGM Sportsbook. You want to know the truth? I won some money, a little Christmas cash, because I took all the college football playoff home teams. Easy. It was easy. Just straight across the board. They're all going to win. I knew that. I mean, these were mismatches. And so why would we take this thing to 14-16? Because here's the Lane Kiffins of the world at Ole Miss. He's arguing, these games weren't any good. And you wouldn't have been any better. I hate to break it to you, Lane. Tennessee, well, they were in your league, looked pretty good, right? No, not really. So let's just say it wasn't just because SMU had a bad game, Indiana had a bad game. Boy, they all had bad games through the whole weekend. Wasn't that interesting, the lower seeds? So you don't go to more and then just open up these matchups. You're going to have more of these matchups. Why? I wanted the 12-team playoff. I thought, here we go. This is going to be great. And the truth, if you just can be honest with yourself, is the big, heavy hitters have all the players. The heavy hitters have all the players when it comes down to crunch time. And so as much as I want to see some of these teams do well out of the Mountain West and some of these conferences, it's tough. You just aren't going to win a tournament style. You might win that one Fiesta Bowl, maybe. You're not going to win this game and another one and another one. It's not happening. So why don't we just go to 8, whittle it down to the 4 Power 4 champions. That's it. There's the 4. Automatic Power 4 champions. Automatic 4 at large. One of those has to be a group of 5, highest ranked. That's it. So highest ranked group of 5, that would have been Boise State. They're still in. Okay? 4 Power 4 champions, SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10. 4 at large, 1 group of 5 highest ranked. So then you got 3 left. You know who the 3 left would have been this year that didn't win their conference, but are really, really good? Ohio State, Texas, and Notre Dame. Those would have been the 3 out of the top 8. That's why that works. Those teams belong. SMU doesn't. 8 teams is where I'd go. And I think that's legit. It still gives you a great tournament. But instead, the committee, the college football wise guys, they want to go to 14, then 16. Well, it's just all about the money. Let's put it on Netflix. Maybe even make more. It's just about TV. It's about the money. The product over the weekend, Mismatch City. Coming right back, 5 questions from Chris, our loyal listener Chris, on a Monday before Christmas. Sends me some questions even about Christmas. 5 questions from Chris next.
This is South Dakota's sports.
This New Year's Eve, get ready to rock the box, featuring flannel and pop rocks live at the Box Event Center. Enter the costume contest for your chance to win the $1,000 grand prize. General admission tickets start at just $35. How about an all-you-can-eat nacho bar? VIP packages, including a room stay and breakfast, start at $149 at rockthebox.live. Rock the box with us and ring in the new year with a bash. Tickets available now. Visit rockthebox.live.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Are new windows from Renewal by Andersen a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Andersen right now? Do the math. Renewal by Andersen windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Andersen, a great investment? You're darn right.
years in Rapid City. I got to tell you, I just worked with WeatherTight on replacing the roof at my house, and the process was seamless working with this great local company. They were an outstanding advocate helping us get things in place. I believe in the work that they do, but not just me. They've been voted Best of the Black Hills 5 years in a row. When the time comes to replace your roof, siding, even windows, WeatherTight is the local company you can count on. Remember, weathertight.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox, inviting you to make us your home for the NFL this season. We really wanted Rapid City to have a premier sports bar with great service and great food, and that's why we started the Skybox. We have 35 big screens, we'll show every NFL game all season long. Plus we'll have great specials for you to join us on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and all day, of course, on Sunday. The Skybox has the best food and the best experience for NFL football. Check us out on game days, and we look forward to serving you at the Skybox above the Firehouse in downtown Rapid City.
At Renewal by Andersen, 2024 has been an incredible year. As the holiday season approaches, they wanted to take a moment to express their heartfelt gratitude.
To their valued customers, thank you for choosing Renewal by Andersen to be a part of your homes, your stories, and your lives.
It's been an honor to help you make your homes more beautiful and comfortable. You've allowed Renewal by Andersen to be a part of your family gatherings, your quiet moments by the window, and your cherished memories.
This holiday season, Renewal by Andersen wants to send their warmest wishes to you and your loved ones. May your hearts be filled with joy, your homes with laughter, and your lives with love. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and may 2025 bring you health, happiness, and even more wonderful moments.
From everyone at Renewal by Andersen, thank you for making 2024 a year to remember, and they look forward to continuing this journey with you.
Merry Christmas. Wishing you and your family a Happy New Year from Renewal by Andersen.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. Second hour of the program, Monday edition, Christmas week. One show, that's it. The Nate Brown Show is on. Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll be off the rest of the week. So let's kick it off and have a great Christmas Eve tomorrow and Christmas Wednesday. And then we'll be back next week right away on Monday, preview the college football playoff showdown. I think these next games are going to be pretty good next week in the college football playoff. So let's get set. More football, fun time of year. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thanks for making this show possible. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Second hour looks good. Joe DeLeon's going to drop by, national FCS college football analyst. What's his read? Jackson Yotes go down. I started my show with it tonight. Great seasons. I mean, USD showed they belonged. I mean, they really did. Montana State, I was impressed with the QB, Tommy Mellott. Oh, what a danger he is. I mean, he's a player. And then South Dakota State, they're right there. Credit to North Dakota State. They beat them twice. Bison beat them twice. Had to be at the Fargo Dome. Might have been different in Brookings. But twice the Bison got him. Joe DeLeon, a reaction and preview. FCS semifinals and national championship coming up now. Montana State and North Dakota State. We'll get which way he's leaning for the January 6th contest. Matthew Collar's on this second hour. He's the Vikings beat writer, purpleinsider.com. He was in Seattle yesterday. He's back after the long trip. Vikings 13-2. Control their own destiny for the number one seed if they can win out. Can you believe that? I love it. Matthew Collar's on from the Twin Cities, purpleinsider.com, straight ahead. Okay, I've asked this question. Would you go to more teams in the college football playoff or less? I would go to 8, honestly. I'm a huge college football fan. I've loved it since I've been watching it. I used to go to games every week since I was, when was that, 8th grader? So my brother played D1. I mean, I've been across the country. I try and take in college football games every year, a lot of them, and I love it. But the 12-team playoff, I was excited. I was juiced and ready, trying to tell my family, hey, we got to, I know there's a little Christmas stuff going on. I understand, but I got to watch these games. It was a letdown. It was an absolute letdown. The matchups weren't good. 12 teams is too many. 8 teams is just enough. And I really believe the 4 Power 4 champions, book that, so you're pretty solid there, and then go 4 at large. One group of 5 gets a seat at the table, no doubt, in the highest-ranked team. That would have been Boise State. I'm fine with that. And then the other 3 would have been picked. And it would have been easy to do this year. Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame. That's it. It's over. So we're trying to make all these teams, let's have more. Let's have more. I don't have more. What would you say? After watching the blowout games in the first round, would you go to more or go down to 8? Keep it at 12, a minimum of 12. Man, this is a heavy vote on Twitter. I'm a little surprised by it because I got text line listeners saying, no, I would go to 6 or 8. I got 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067 is the Barron's-Wilson text line for you to chime in on the conversation. I got a lot of people saying they'd go to 6. I would go to 8. I wouldn't trim it quite that much, but if I put the 8 in that I just told you, we'd have a nice playoff here. We're going to have pretty good games this next week on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I think my guy Matt Kearney's Boise State Broncos are in a little trouble there on the blue turf, but they might hang around for a little while. They don't have to go to Happy Valley, so that's going to be an edge for Boise State. Let's see. I would go with the 8 teams, as you're saying. Okay, so all right, yeah, I got a little street cred there. Let's see, 6 or 8. Those teams could win the championship easy. You got to go 6 or 8. Listener text, after this 12-team run, I feel like something's coming to light. Just do a 6-team playoff. 4 major conferences and then 2 at large. Yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far. The Twitter audience says 88% of you say keep a minimum of 12. What were you guys doing? Christmas shopping over the weekend? Anyway, 88% of you say keep a minimum of 12. This is on Twitter. 12% say go to 8. The games would be better. And maybe it's just hey, we already had 4 and we didn't like that. Yeah, I know, and then we tripled it. Let's go to 8. There's really like a top 10 college football program that probably could compete. I think you get into the Indianas and the SMUs and stuff, it falls off in a hurry. I mean, it just does. Indiana didn't beat anybody, and neither did SMU. It wasn't a mystery. I mean, that was just letting them, play in the playoff because they had a lot of wins over nobody. So I would go to 8. That's my read on this. Let's get this going on a Monday Christmas week.
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show.
5 questions from Chris, special Christmas edition. Question 1, Nate. Let's talk about the college football playoff. Do we need 12 or 14 teams? Hey, how about that, Chris? Hot button topic of the day. And Chris, our loyal listener, starts 5 questions from Chris. Do we need 12 or 14? We do not. It is about the money, Chris. It's about the TV. It's a TV show. That's all it is. It's a TV revenue show. So we want more teams. It doesn't matter how the games go. That's what the college football leaders are telling you. And so I can make believe all I want. Hey, I want to go to 8. And they're going to say, you're a South Dakota sports radio host. Have a good life. They want money. See ya. So we're going to go to 14 and then maybe to 16. Question number 2. In 2 months, spring training starts. Oh, boy. Okay. They're going to use the automatic strike zone, Nate, in the spring training. Do you think Major League Baseball will push full steam ahead with using the automated strike zone, the computer, to call balls and strikes the major leagues? I do think they will push ahead on that, Chris. The plan is to try and get it going in 2026 for Major League Baseball. I don't love it. I got a buddy of mine, who sends me umps videos of bad calls all the time. I mean, he's like, hey, you still want this? You want this? I just want regular sports. I don't need to computerize everything. Sorry to tell you, life in 1985 was a little more simpler. Christmas a little more simpler. Now we got automated this and automated that. I mean, we just think we have to automate everything, including Major League Baseball. So my answer to your question, Chris, yes, they will. I think they will have automated strike zone, computers calling balls and strikes in the major leagues. They're going to try it in spring training. I think they're going to put it in the majors a couple of years. Question number 3. It was announced Netflix is the new home for the Women's World Cup now in 2027-2031. It's one thing to broadcast regular season games on streaming. What do you think about an entire playoffs or finals like the World Cup? Do you think women's soccer's making a mistake risking this about being on streaming? Well, maybe. They're not going to get as big an audience. Broadcast TV for the Women's World Cup is still going to give you the best audience. The NFL knows that. The NFL is like tipping their toes into the streaming. Just enough to make enough money for now. Let's do Netflix Christmas games, that's all. Let's do Thursday night football on Amazon. Let's do Peacock one playoff game. They're not going to full bore AFC Championship, NFC Championship on streaming. Super Bowl on streaming. They're not going to do that, right, Chris? Women's World Cup takes the jump. It's a jump. I don't know if I like it. I think they're going to lose a bigger crowd that may watch the Women's World Cup because now you got to stream it. Not everybody is streaming. I mean, a lot of people, not everybody. Question number 4. Christmas, a couple of days away. Are you the typical male that's still out there getting presents today? Or did you plan ahead? Well, Chris, I picked up my last Christmas gift this morning. What does that tell you? Is that good enough for you? It's the 23rd. I'm not running around on Christmas Eve. We're going to be just fine. So, a little late, not super late, okay? Question number 5. 5 questions from Chris. Last week, we all learned you're not a fan of Christmas cookies as your favorite treat. You like caramels. What's your favorite main course for your Christmas meal Wednesday? That's an easy one. Book it. Prime rib. It's the new Christmas tradition in the Brown household. I already got that prime rib. It's funny. What did I buy first, Christmas gifts or the prime rib? You tell me. I went prime rib. You know where I'm at. My priorities. 5 questions from Chris in the book, special Christmas edition. Merry Christmas, everybody. A lot to cover tonight. Hang on. Joe DeLeon is next, national FCS analyst. What does he think of the semis and how they went down Saturday for the Jackson Yotes? Who's he taking? Montana State or North Dakota State? Joe DeLeon next on the FCS playoffs.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Shop the best deals of the season at Splash City. Stay warm, relaxed, and save thousands on Jacuzzi and Sundance's highest quality hot tubs and saunas. With a free accessory package, you only have until Christmas Eve to stop in your local Splash City to learn more about these amazing deals. Jacuzzi and Sundance's highest quality in hot tubs and saunas to warm up inside and outside all winter long.
Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City. It's time to make a splash. You've earned it.
Village Heart dinner rolls are a must for the upcoming holiday. Getting together with family and friends is great, but to be honest, I really look forward to the big holiday meal. And whether we roast a turkey or ham, we always have plenty of Village Heart dinner rolls. They're great with the meal, but they also make the best little turkey and ham sandwiches the next day. Baked locally and delivered fresh daily, Village Heart dinner rolls are the natural choice for holiday meals.
It's here, the grand finale closeout at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. All remaining 2024 models must go now. Cadillac XT5 up to $3,000 off. XT4 $2,500 off. XT6 save up to $3,500. Save up to $5,500 on Escalades. Remaining GMC models up to $8,000 off during the year-end Spearfish GMC Cadillac closeout sale. Always open online at spearfishmotors.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows of love around 31 tonight under overcast skies, west winds around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 54 tomorrow, bright sunshine expected. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow night, lows around 35. Temps well above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs from the upper 40s to the low 50s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 45.
Did you know that sports events hosted in Rapid City have generated over $30 million in economic spending so far in 2024? Retail, hotels, and restaurants benefit from our community being a regional sports hub. I'm D'Amico from the Rapid City Sports Commission, and we recruit and grow events in Rapid City to increase spending as well as the quality of life for our local families. Please follow the Rapid City Sports Commission on Facebook to get more information about Rapid City sports and events.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
I have no idea how that song has made an appearance on The Nate Brown Show, but it has. We're required to play Christmas music on our one show this week. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Turn that off. Okay. Oh, I'm just kidding. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back. Thanks for being here. We're ready in the second hour of the program. Good stuff tonight. Let's go to Joe DeLeon, college football analyst, covers the FCS and more. He's got a good podcast. It's Ruffino and Joe. Okay, the Ruffino and Joe Show. That's the podcast. Find him on X if you want to follow him there at Joe DeLeon. And he's here on the Nate Brown Show talking FCS semifinals. The Jackrabbits go down, the Coyotes go down, and it's Montana State against North Dakota State in Frisco. Joe, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm doing great. We got to watch some pretty good football this past weekend, and I'm not talking about the college football playoff. Of course, I'm talking about those 2 games you just mentioned.
No, I'm with you on that. I do want to get your read on the college football playoff. I'll get to that. But let's start with the FCS. And I was serious about this. Here in the Dakotas, we're like, hey, the best game in that window Saturday was South Dakota State, North Dakota State by far. That was a good game. Here's how I read it. Jackrabbits went up there twice. They lost both games really close. Those 2 teams seem really even. If they played in Brookings, maybe South Dakota State wins. How did you see these 2 programs this year?
Yeah, well, one, you talked about this being the most entertaining, and I thought it overall was summed up by Cam Miller's comments after the game where he said, I hate the Jackrabbits, I hate them, and then it really plays into people nationally not understanding that this is one of the most heated rivalries, and it's on the field. You can see it every snap. There's scrappiness, there is jawing, there is jockeying back and forth. I think at the end of the day where the separation point was, and it was one of the things I said coming into the game, it was who was going to have the more explosive plays. And North Dakota State just had enough of those big splash plays that were able to help them finish off. And I'm, of course, the one that I think about the most is watching Bryce Lance have that incredible touchdown reception in the end zone for what ended up being the game-winning touchdown. He had a phenomenal game for going over 100 yards and the 3 scores that he had. He has looked better and better every single game this year and stepping up in a spot where they needed him to have a huge performance. South Dakota State just didn't really have that receiving option that they could turn to, that same level that North Dakota State did. And Cam Miller looked as poised and as consistent as he's been this whole year, and the reason why I think he's going to win the Walter Payton Award, I vote on that award, and I picked Cam Miller. He stepped up and showed why he deserved it in this game with the tight windows that he was fitting the ball into and just connecting and finding guys wherever he needed. The last bit on this, I really almost thought that this game was going to end up becoming, an overtime game, the way that it was going, and the way that South Dakota State started to march down the field a little bit on that final drive. If it wasn't for that 4th and long situation that they found themselves into, part of me wonders if that didn't end up getting into a 2-point shootout.
Here's the thing, Joe. Jackrabbits, I thought, first half had it in control. There was a turnover inside the red zone, their own red zone inside the 20 there. That was huge. North Dakota State capitalizing. I felt like it got even there, and then it was just a battle. I felt like the Jacks in the first half were a couple of plays away from going, okay, we go up by a touchdown here, and it might have been different. Couple of key mistakes early.
Yeah, the key mistakes, I think, definitely played into this outcome. And a lot of it, too, I keep coming back to outside of the mistakes and when I previewed this matchup, what was going to hold back South Dakota State. It feels like in the past, every single year, South Dakota State always had a reliable receiver or tight end that they could turn to, whether it was Tucker Kraft, whether it was one of the Yankee twins. And while Griffin Wilde was good this year, there weren't very many options outside of that. So when you're not playing as steady and those early mistakes end up catching up to you, needing somebody in the passing game that you can rely on, not having that, I think showed up. And it showed up the first time that they faced off with them. When they lost that first game, it was much more low scoring.
Yeah.
And there were less spark opportunities. But I wonder if South Dakota State's going to have those same playmakers and better receivers going into next year.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Jacks won 2 in a row. They were going for a three-peat. How would you characterize South Dakota State's program? You can't get it into the dynasty category. I mean, I think you gotta keep this thing going. But they're top of the top here, winning back-to-back titles and getting to the semis. You still consider South Dakota State premier FCS?
Oh, absolutely, especially with the way that they develop talent and also the way that they're able to recruit amongst some of the top teams in that region so consistently. Ask Georgia how hard it is to three-peat. Just because you don't three-peat does not mean that your program's a top 3, top 2 program. I wouldn't be shocked if next year we aren't talking about them as a national champion or reaching the national championship game, because there's always the next man up. There's always somebody else that they're going to be able to turn to now that Mark Gronowski's moving on and they'll get a shot at the NFL. There is always going to be talent that they're going to have on that roster because they do such a good job of not only developing but also keeping a lot of those guys in-house and them staying and not entering the transfer portal. So their ability to do all of that makes them a top program. What has killed, I think, a lot of the FCS teams that have been competitive over the past 5 years is that inability to retain talent. A lot of these teams, like Montana's a good example of that this year, where they didn't lose a ton of guys to the transfer portal, but it felt like they turned over enough, and they started over at quarterback with Clifton McDowell leaving, and then there was so much insecurity and inconsistency with who they could turn to between Fife and Ayat at quarterback. So the way that they're just so steady and the way that they continue to grow players within that program is so huge and why they remain in that conversation.
Joe DeLeon talking FCS semis. Jacks go down to North Dakota State. He's a college football analyst. His show, Ruffino and Joe Show, good stuff. They break down the FCS and more. Let's go to Bozeman here. So USD made this run for the first time. This is as deep as they've gone. I felt like even though they lose and Montana State pulled away in the second half, they really had it under control, the Bobcats did. They had some chunk plays in the first half. It's 14-14. They matched up physically, I think, quite a bit. Just couldn't stop Tommy Mellott. The RPOs, he was really tough to stop in short yardage. I felt like USD showed they belonged. They made Montana State play well.
Absolutely, and this was at the beginning of this game. I was watching and I was thinking, like, wow, could this end up being as exciting and as close as the first matchup? And credit, by the way, shout out to Travis Tice, who had another unbelievable game, despite maybe not getting that same carrying from the rest of his teammates who they all had great, good games. Charles Pierre Jr. had a nice 45-yard long run, but the fact that Travis Tice had such an impact as a receiver and as a runner, he couldn't do everything, though. The fact that you just brought up Malott, and Malott, the ability for them to just run their offense through him and for him to be a better passer in the way that he's developed and for all the snaps and plays that he's seen has made him the most dangerous quarterback in the country. And the three-headed monster that they have at running back right now is so unstoppable because, like last week, we saw Adam Jones go off, and then this week we saw Adam Jones and Scotty Humphrey get bottled up a little bit, and Malott goes off. So there's always somebody else that they can turn to amongst those three heads that if somebody tries to chop off one and another one grows back and another comes back fighting, and they can just rely on a different ball carrier.
Joe, you said your vote for Walter Payton Player of the Year, FCS, was Cam Miller, and I get it. I think he's a gamer. I think Tommy Malott, you just said the most dangerous player in the country. I think he is. Is it because, he doesn't throw for a ton of yards? They have to rush for over 300. They kind of share the rock a little bit. Is that why Tommy's not above Cam Miller? I think Malott's he might be the best player on January 6th.
I remember, if I remember correctly, I believe Malott was number 2 for me. I forget off the top of my head. He might have been 3, but it all chalked up to that. What I just said, where you kind of alluded to, that Malott is so fantastic as a player, but he's not the sole driver for their success. He's deserving of being in that conversation for the award because of how game-changing he can be. I just felt like Cam Miller this year had played at an unreal level. And the way that he was as a passer I believe he was over 70% completion percentage. He wasn't turning the ball over. It wasn't until the Mercer game that we saw he had multiple interceptions. It was so noticeable under a first-year head coach that they needed Cam Miller's leadership and his maturity and his experience to help carry them this far. And if they win the national championship this year, I think it's going to be because Cam Miller makes another big throw. That is what makes him, in my eyes, so tremendous, is that they needed him to make a really tight, difficult throw to Bryce Lance, and he was able to do it. And I'm not saying, Tommy Malott can't have his own big plays. There's a little bit more balance, and that's what makes Montana State so dangerous, is that they're so balanced, that they have so many options in so many different ways to beat you.
Yeah, no doubt. This game, January 6th in Frisco, Joe DeLeon, I want you to pick it if you can, at least early. Montana State, North Dakota State. I think it's going to be really good. I was impressed with Montana State physicality. Malott, I think, is just a playmaker. I lean Montana State. Where are you going?
I lean Montana State as well, and I know it just sounded like the way that it was hyping up Miller in North Dakota State that I was going to lean that direction, but the balance that I just mentioned there is why I go to Montana State, and the dominance too. They have been dominant in every single game this season. It felt like even where there were close parts against certain opponents, there was always a spot where they separated, and it felt like, they've got this. They have this game in hand, and their ability also to fight through adversity like they did in week 0 also shows that they're able to battle through any circumstance. So with the rushing attack, I think is going to be really hard for them to stop. And Brody Grebe and that defense, they're going to be coming after Cam Miller. To your point, it's going to be really close. I don't think we're going to have the same level of blowouts that we saw over the past 5 years with a number, especially with South Dakota State producing those. I think it's going to be really tight, and it's going to come down to a late game situation where Montana State needs to convert and maybe grind down the clock a little bit, and they've got the run game to do so.
Okay, I'm with you, at least for now. Montana State, North Dakota State, Frisco, January 6th. That's a Monday FCS championship. I think it's going to be great, even though a lot of fans here wanted the Jacks and the Yotes. We'll be dialed in on that. It's going to be a good one. Joe DeLeon, college football FCS analyst, Ruffino and Joe Show podcast. They break down the game in a good way. You can check it out, Ruffino and Joe podcast. Joe, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time. Joe DeLeon on The Nate Brown Show. Find him on Twitter. Follow him at Joe DeLeon, Walter Payton Award voter, FCS college football analyst. All right. Asking you on the college football playoff at the FBS level. You want more games, more teams, or less teams? I want to go to 8. I'll never get my wish. They're going to go to more teams, even after the blowouts of the first round this past weekend. Teams, there's a big fall-off there. There's a big fall-off. Listener text coming in, 605-720-1067 on the Barons-Wilson text line. Nate, try to be safe in my language. Oh, hang on a second. For Cripe's sake, these young men are 20 years old. Now they're going to play 12, 14, 16 games? How much can they take? It's a money grab. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's... They're not worried about the product for the fans. They're worried about the TV revenue and how much they can make off the TV shows. The college football playoff is a TV show. So is the NFL. It's just modeled way differently. Salary cap, free agency, I mean, the whole thing. There's parity. It's a TV show. And they don't care about the best 8 teams. They want 14 teams, more games, more TV slots, more money. That's it. And I hope they don't ruin it. Matthew Coller's in next on the Nate Brown Show Vikings coverage. He was in Seattle yesterday covering the Vikings comeback win. Sam Darnold, what a game. Again, Vikings are 13-2. Can they get the number 1 seed? Purple Insider's Matthew Coller from the Twin Cities next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Home really is the place to be. Landscapes by Forever Lawn can give your home the lush, natural grass appearance you expect without the work. Our premium materials and construction create a low-maintenance experience of transformational beauty and exceptional wear performance, allowing you time to enjoy your family and friends. Call 605-831-9026 or Google Forever Lawn in South Dakota. With dealerships on both sides of the state, we're ready to help you make one of the best upgrades you can add to your home sweet home. Forever Lawn in South Dakota.
You just got a quote from a company and are now being billed for not choosing them. Many contracts have what's referred to as a contingency agreement. These typically state that if you don't go with them, you, after insurance has approved the repair work, will be charged a percentage of the job they quoted. Ask up front if they charge to provide an estimate. Never sign anything that you haven't fully read or understand. If you have any questions, reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
The grand opening of the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron's been a monumental success, and they want to thank their customers with 24 days of Christmas giveaways. Through Christmas Eve, the 300th shopper each day will get to choose an envelope that contains all kinds of great prizes, like fire pits, golf bags, gift certificates, and much more. No purchase necessary. Stop by anytime and shop the largest selection of fine wine, premium spirits, beer, and more. The new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron next to Walmart, or shop the original spot on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road.
The last 5 days are the best 5 days of the year to buy from Denny Mental Toyota. Choose from over 350 new and used cars, trucks, sport utilities, and certified pre-owned Toyotas. With financing as low as 4.99% APR for up to 60 months. Buy with no down, make no payments until March of 2025. It all ends December 31st. See us at Denny Mental Toyota and DennyMentalToyota.com. 1887 for 1,000 finance, regardless of down and select models with qualified credit. Expires 1/6/25.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Do you have a financial game plan for your life? Hi, this is Lee Cruz, your local trusted New York Life agent here in Rapid City. My passion is helping you put the pieces in place for your family to make sure your game plan is a success. For over 175 years, New York Life has been helping people like yourself take action in securing their future. Don't wait, take action and Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. We will work together on putting your family first.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their number one priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, thanks for being here on a Monday, Christmas week. Merry Christmas to you and your family and all your friends. Hope you have a great week. This is it for The Nate Brown Show this week. And we'll be back next Monday, so we'll take the Christmas week off. Had to get out of the gate on a Monday and get you set for some Week 17 NFL, some college football, and we'll be back on Monday. So Merry Christmas to you all. Thanks for making this show possible. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. South Dakota Sports Talk Show with Matthew Collars back in the Twin Cities after the Vikings take care of the Seahawks. In a comeback fashion, Sam Darnold, game-winning drive, Vikings pick to seal it. PurpleInsider.com, the site. If you don't get the newsletter, you want it, PurpleInsider.com. Matthew, good to have you back. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I had to do a little red-eye action back from Seattle. So... You know, I haven't gotten quite reacclimated after that, but what a game, what a game. Like, the head's still kind of spinning after watching that one. I think that was probably the Vikings' best win of the entire year, considering they were coming off a short week and the weather, and they were missing Harrison Smith, and they needed every bit of mile per hour on the fastball of Sam Darnold at the end of that game. So that was quite a win for the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, I like it. Matthew Collar back from Seattle after a red eye and his head spinning. This should be a great segment. Here we go. Why do I should say this? How do you play the Vikings? Take away Justin Jefferson or let him do what he did yesterday? How do you play the Vikings?
Yeah, there's really no answer to that. And that's why Sam Darnold has played like an MVP this year, and the Vikings have 13 wins, because every single team in the NFL comes in with some different plan against the Vikings' weapons, and we've seen a lot of different versions of it. Usually it includes trying to put a safety over Justin Jefferson. That doesn't work. He's still at the top of the league, him and Jamar Chase, in terms of receiving yards. Yesterday, I mean, Seattle was trying to do that. They were trying to put safeties over Justin Jefferson, but in the biggest moment of the game, he just readjusts his own route and runs a different route than he was even supposed to, according to the play, but he just went to space and did kind of a Randy Moss throw up the arm, I'm open to Sam Darnold, and he makes a play. That's another part of it, is the chemistry that those two have. Even if you try to take away Justin Jefferson, the ball location, the velocity, the chemistry, the anticipation that now Darnold is throwing with, since he understands Justin Jefferson and they have so many reps together, that's pretty hard to stop in itself. But even if you do dedicate your entire defense to stopping him, we've seen earlier this year huge games from T.J. Hawkinson and Jordan Addison, and they didn't run the ball particularly well yesterday, but they have proven throughout the season they can run. And all this stuff is what travels from week to week, is having multiple answers, so there isn't one type of defense that can take it away. And even with Darnold, teams have tried to blitz. Doesn't always work, because then receivers get one-on-one. Yesterday, Seattle tried not blitzing, and they found guys in the holes of their zone defense. So, that's just what Kevin O'Connell has been able to build for his offense, that he knows how to take advantage of teams that are looking to take away Justin Jefferson, and it's what they've built as a roster around Sam Darnold. And then, of course, the most credit goes to him for making the throws, making the plays when things break down, and coming through in the biggest moments time and time again for this team.
What do you think of that throw, the game-winning touchdown to Jefferson late yesterday?
I guess the way that I would describe it is franchise quarterback type stuff. And I know that everybody wants to debate his future and all that sort of stuff. But if you just look at that play in particular, the protection breaks down a little. He's got to scramble to make space for himself. He's moving up in the pocket. He's about to take a huge hit. He's got his eyes downfield. And then there's two guys down there, and he throws an absolute dart. And he even talked about postgame the location that when he looked downfield, he looked for a specific location to throw to kind of the outside shoulder of Jefferson away from the defender, and he put it right on him. I mean, there's only a handful of quarterbacks in the league that can do something like that. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, that's raw talent. Everybody talks about Kevin O'Connell as the quarterback whisperer, and there's truth to that, of course. O'Connell deserves Coach of the Year. He's been incredible. But sometimes you can't draw it up. And this was always the problem with Kirk Cousins. It's the reason why Kirk Cousins was a 500 quarterback and was never good enough. And guys like Derek Carr are never good enough, and Daniel Jones and players like that, is because they don't have that arm and they don't have that mobility and that athleticism. I saw some stat that Darnold was running like 11 miles an hour when he threw the ball. Of course he was, because he's fast, he's quick. He was getting up to speed quickly, escaping in the pocket there, just even his normal movement, because he's a great athlete. So all that type of stuff that's come together, it's been elite quarterback play from Sam Darnold on a week-in and week-out basis.
Now, I got to ask you, Matthew Collar on PurpleInsider.com, talking Vikings, covered the win yesterday over the Seahawks, coming back and winning another one. Vikes are 13-2. So, of course, you want the number one seed, but you got to win out here. They control their own destiny is how I see the tiebreaker. So if you win Packers, you win at Detroit, you're in good shape. How big is that to this Vikings team? Like, you go from the number one seed to then going on the road in the first round. That's what it could be.
Right, and I'll never understand, and maybe if I bump into Roger Goodell somewhere, I'll ask him, why a team could potentially have a 14-win record and go on the road to play somebody with 9 wins. I mean, that's asinine. I don't understand
I'm
the
with
thought
you on
process
that.
at all. I mean, to have a gap of potentially 5 wins between the road team, it just doesn't make any sense. But that's the rules, and that means that the difference between having the number 1 overall seed and not, that 1 win, is enormous. Probably the biggest penalty for one loss that has ever existed. I mean, to go from, if they win both, as you said, they're the number 1 seed, that means they get to be fully healthy and at one of the toughest stadiums in the league to play. And Brian Flores' defense inside U.S. Bank Stadium has been a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. On the road, they're still good, as you saw yesterday, but they're not as good when you don't have that crowd advantage. And, Sam Darnold has been so excellent when playing inside U.S. Bank Stadium. You could be talking about going to Atlanta or maybe Tampa Bay, or even, I guess, possibly Los Angeles might still be on the table. I mean, it's not that the Vikings wouldn't be favored in any of those games, but if they get an entire week off to get 100% healthy, and then they have to play a team that's coming off of a playoff game, I think it's an enormous, almost absurd, in my opinion, advantage for one team to have, but the second team to not have that big of an advantage. But that's the cards that they're dealt, so they have to take care of business in these next 2 games and get that number 1 seed. But if they do, then they're the favorite to reach the Super Bowl, because the Eagles are a little banged up now with Jalen Hurts. The Detroit Lions have a bunch of players on defense that are injured. If they win this game, they'll have beaten Green Bay twice. I mean, everything would be pointing toward the Vikings if they could get that 1 seed.
Matthew Collar, pop it in tonight, Christmas week. Get some rest. Enjoy your Christmas, man. I appreciate you hopping in.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Matthew Collar tonight, PurpleInsider.com. Read his work, covered the Vikes all season long. Good breakdown from Matthew Collar. The Vikings 13-2, winning out. They beat the Packers this week. They beat the Lions last week. Number 1 seed for your Minnesota Vikings. Let's get some best bets to wrap up the show. BetMGM Sportsbook's Isaiah Clift next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Stock up on everyday essentials at Menards and save big money. We're your one-stop shop for pet food and supplies. Feed your pets Wild Side with Blue Buffalo dog and cat food. It's made with real meat and natural ingredients that your pets will love. Save big on Blue Buffalo pet food at Menards. And don't forget to visit Menards.com to see our weekly flyer for all our great deals.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
In towns all across South Dakota, it's your banker, the kids' Little League coach, and your brother-in-law who are the firefighters, EMTs, and first responders. So when you drink and drive, the whole town will know it, because they're the first on the scene, and maybe the last faces you see. Do the first responders in your town a favor. Volunteer to be the designated driver. You be the hero, and give them the night off. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Football is on, and your place for all the action is at the BetMGM Sportsbook in Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort.
And he's got a touchdown!
Don't miss a second of your favorite matchups with wall-to-wall television arrays and personalized audio technology.
Touchdown, Denver!
Now offering live betting so you can keep your luck rolling while the game is still going. Grab a lounge chair or pull up to a table and order off a full menu of food and drinks from Patty O'Neill's. BetMGM at Tin Lizzy is the #1 sportsbook in Deadwood, where it's always game on.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows of low around 31. Tonight, under overcast skies, west winds around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 54. Tomorrow, bright sunshine expected. Cloudy skies expected. Tomorrow night, lows around 35. Temps well above average Wednesday and Thursday, with highs from the upper 40s to the low 50s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 43 degrees.
Hi, it's Nate Brown for Black Hills Community Bank. If you run your own company or you're looking to start a small business here in the Black Hills, you want to make sure you choose the right banking partner, and I know the right choice for business is Black Hills Community Bank. They have plenty of banking options to suit your specific needs, and Black Hills Community Bank is here to help business owners thrive and to make sure you have the support and tools to help your business grow. Just contact one of their business loan experts today or visit bhcbank.com. Member FDIC.
Do you find yourself in a difficult legal situation? Whether it's a DUI, criminal charges, or an injury case, you need the right lawyer on your side. That's where Wrench Law comes in. With over 30 years of experience, Tim Wrench is a trial lawyer who knows the ins and outs of the legal system. Tim specializes in helping people in a jury trial get the best possible outcome for the case. Don't let legal troubles get in the way of your life. Contact Wrench Law today and get the help you need to move forward. Wrench Law, who you need when you're caught in a bind. Call 605-341-1111.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Radio. Let's get some best bets, some best picks. My guy, Sportsbook Manager, BetMGM Sportsbook, Tin Lizzy, Deadwood, Main Street. Isaiah Cliff back on the Nate Brown Show. Isaiah, good to have you. How are you?
Good. How you doing today, Nate?
Good, man. Let's go. I saw you over the weekend, and I'm back for more. Let's go with some Christmas Day games. I mean, you guys are going to be taking bets on Christmas Day for the NFL, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll be there. You'll be seeing my pretty face, and we'll be taking care of you guys for Christmas. So.
Okay, we're ready. We got our Christmas Day games. Let's start there. BetMGM Sportsbooks, Isaiah Clifton, Chiefs, 2.5-point favorites against the Steelers. What do you see?
I see I saw that George Pickens today did a full practice, and I think if George Pickens plays that game, the Steelers have a chance. And you know me, I'm not sure if all your listeners know me, but I'm a big Steelers guy, so I'm a little biased. But I think if George Pickens plays that game, we're a little angry about losing these last two games. I think we're to come back with a vengeance.
Okay, I'm kind of with you on the Steelers, 2.5-point dogs at home. If Pickens plays, it's a difference maker. So you would take the Steelers to win, but you're a Steelers fan.
I am a Steelers fan. I'm biased.
Okay,
what I'd also probably take is the over. Every Steelers over has hit the last 4 games. Rocking with that. Chiefs are a high-scored team. Steelers have proven themselves to be a high-scored team, especially when they have their moon ball receivers ready to go. So I'm hoping that we can at least clean up that win and, hit that over.
Okay, Isaiah Clifton, BetMGM Sportsbook, Fox Sports home at Tin Lizzie, Main Street, Deadwood. Other Christmas Day game, Ravens and Texans. I don't know why this number's 4. I'm not a believer in the Texans. Ravens are favored by 4, but they are on the road. What do you say?
I think Lamar Jackson's got to be probably the happiest he's been. Not to call back to the Steelers again, but that's the first time he's beat us in 5 years. So I think he's got a good head on his shoulders currently. I think, like you said, without Tank Dell, C.J. Stroud, he's a good quarterback, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Ravens. Ravens have been playing really beautifully recently, and they're going for that number 1 spot in our division, so I don't think they're going to want to lose that game. So I think they're throwing everything they have at it.
Okay, I get that one. It's going to be interesting. 2 Christmas Day games. Remember, the place to bet on the NFL is BetMGM Sportsbook. They will be there. My guy Isaiah Cliff's always there at Tin Lizzie taking your bets. I want to jump into next weekend here. This is a Saturday game. My Broncos are trying to make the playoffs. Everybody jumped the gun. I say, oh, they're going to make it. It's easy. They lost to the Chargers. Now they're 3-point underdogs at the Bengals. What do you think on that one?
I think the Bengals are such a strong team with such a bad defense. I think that's like the hardest part you're going to have to deal with. And if, Bo goes out there and balls out like he has been every other game, I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think the Bengals have a chance, but I think the Broncos are going to come through with this one.
Wow.
At least cover the spread.
You would take the points.
Yeah.
Take the points. +3 right now for the Broncos on the road. I get that. I get that. We'll see if the Broncos defense can match up with the Bengals offense. That's one to watch on Saturday. Isaiah, last one. Packers play tonight. They're big favorites, but right now BetMGM has them 1.5-point underdogs at Minnesota this next weekend. Really big matchup in the NFC North. Can the Vikings stay hot?
I think the Vikings will probably stay hot. I think the Packers, depending on how tonight's game goes, I think that it's going to be a close game. That's why it's sitting at 1.5. But I think the Vikings, they have so many more options, and their defense is better than the Packers' defense. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I still think the Vikings are going to pull through with it. I'm assuming by at least a field goal, if not more.
Give me the Vikings. Isaiah Clift goes Vikings, covering the 1.5. All the games are on at BetMGM Sportsbook, Tin Lizzie, the king of sportsbooks, Main Street, Deadwood, Fox Sports Radio's home. Isaiah, always good, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great rest of your night.
Appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you. We'll see you on Christmas at BetMGM Sportsbook, Tin Lizzie, your home for the best bets, the king of sportsbooks. Hey, the Nate Brown Show is out. Appreciate you listening. The podcast will be going up right now. Merry Christmas. We will be back next Monday.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.